Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I'm here with the lovely Zinnia. Say hello, lovely Zinnia.
Hello, lovely Zinnia.
Perfect. I'm BoredGamer. We're going to be talking about particular topics and focusing on some interesting suggestions from the community and stuff like that over the next few podcasts. Obviously, we would talk about news and stuff where it's relevant. But today, I sort of wanted to talk about sort of Star Citizen players, news outlets, and content creators. They are all part of CIG's greater marketing machine for Star Citizen, sort of whether you like it or not. So us as BoredGamer, we're sort of part of that marketing machine. We're not paid by CIG or anything like that, but we're all participating in that marketing machine, and it's sort of partially calculated by CIG, but they're sort of expanding out their marketing team, and you can't argue that their marketing isn't fantastic financially for them. Like, they have been making huge amounts of money, more money year on year, and I think actually this is the first time that we've seen a month make less money than the sort of previous year's months, and that's just sort of because of 3.18's pretty bad release, just because it broke everything. But they're on the straight and narrow. They're fixing the stuff now. So, Zin, with sort of Star Citizen funding slowing a little bit in the last couple of months, do you think that's just to sort of be expected because of 3.18's broken release?
Oh, definitely. I think most people sort of decide on whether they're going to give CIG money based on how the game's doing, really.
Do you think it's partly, though, just because there hasn't been any big sales?
No, I don't think so. Like, there's no reason for it to have been, like, less than the previous year, other than the bad 3.18.
Yeah. So I think last year we did have, obviously, a strong release for the game, and then they were running dynamic events at the same time, which they had quite a large ship sale for. So
possibly, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I'm saying there's probably multiple factors, but I do think that if CIG had a big ship sale, they'd still be smashing it through the monies. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Fleet Week, starting what we think is on the 20th of May, so in about a month. So have the people that would have been spending money earlier, will they spend it all during Fleet Week? Or is 3.18's release going to have damaged sales for that period as well? Let's talk more about this sort of the topic of we're all part of the CIG marketing machine. So Star Citizen's marketing, in my opinion, is super refined. They have big events with Fleet Week, CitizenCon, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. They have these huge patch releases when they work, and they sort of have many minor ones with like dynamic events and that sort of stuff, all with big ship sales attached, or ship sales of some description attached. And then they obviously have their concept sales, which have slowed down a lot, concept sales, but they have a lot of straight to flyable sales, and a lot of these are attached to patch releases, adding to the hype. So you have these big hyped events which encourage people to buy ships. Now, you're sort of all right with the CIG sales and monetization of the way they do things. You don't think it's overly predatory? You don't think it's... What are your thoughts on just the way they make their money?
If it works for them, I can't personally see anything wrong with it. Like, it might not be the way that I would have gone about doing things, but, like, yeah, it works for them, so why not?
I suppose they're not forcing anyone to buy anything. It's not pay to win in at least the traditional sense, because you can get everything in game, you really can. And if you just want a big ship, you can just join an org with a big ship and be on that ship with those people. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's lots of arguments to be made there for sure. Some people would say it's like predatory, the monetization of artificial scarcity, because that's one of the major things, is that these big events, they and the way they market is partly artificial scarcity, where you go, well, there's this big event where you can get a ship sale, you can get your ship that you want, but you can only get that with real money once every 4 times a year. There's or 3 times a year. There's that ship will be on sale, and it will go up in value as well, which is an interesting one. So obviously, if you buy a ship on its concept or the first time it's on sale, or before it's released, sort of officially in game, then you get it cheaper, and then it gets more and more and more expensive up until when they release it in game. So I do think that obviously adds to sort of the marketing hype. It's also interesting as well. A lot of people would say that when CIG release a ship, they nerf the ship. So have you seen this happen beyond, well, I suppose the big one is the sort of Ares Ion. a lot of people will talk about still. Do you think that happens regularly, where CIG will be marketing a ship, talking about a ship, selling a ship, release the ship, and then nerf it?
I think it's to be expected. You don't know how something's really going to react in an actual live situation.
So not so much nerfing, but balancing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if something is overpowered, yes, it will get nerfed. That's essentially what is going to happen, and that does happen quite a lot, because you can't blame them. They have grand ideas, and they want things to be wow.
Yeah, I suppose that if something's not great, they'll buff it.
Yeah.
But all of that sort of buff and tweaking and stuff is relatively meaningless at the moment until we have Star Citizen and its full release. Like, there's a huge amount of changes that are coming to the game with the combat model and flight model, and even with the Ares Ion, after they have physicalized components and all the ships are in game and all the gameplay mechanics, I suspect the ship will come into its own as its intended role, and people will be relatively happy with it. I don't want the Ares Ion in game if it's going to be a one-shot sniper kill of any fighter, super easy, PvP, lol. That's not fun. It might be fun for the person doing it for the first few hundred times, going lol. But but then you're bored. So yeah, I do think that's obviously something people discuss, but I don't think it is a nerf. Typically, it's a balance, and you don't want things to break the game. I think there is discussion as well that are new ships that CIG produce, are they power creep? Are they just more and more powerful ships or better versions of the previous ships? What do you think of that? If I said you have the Carrack, yeah, and then they went, we're going to concept the Odyssey, which is bigger and can quantanium mine. Is that just a better ship, or what do you think?
Yeah, kind of. It's a difficult one. Again, like I say, I find that as they progress, they do get bigger and bigger ideas, and obviously ships will fulfill more roles and do more things, and it might be a case of they just need to go back and readjust the older ships. Okay,
I see what you're saying there. So a lot of the time I feel that Cloud Imperium will look at, they'll go, well, actually, this ship doesn't do this, and they'll try and fill a hole with a new ship.
Yeah.
For me, the Odyssey and the Carrack are moderately different. I think the Carrack's more for pathfinding and expeditions that are going to be for scanning stuff down, and the Odyssey is much more, I can stay in whatever system I'm in for potentially permanently, because I can farm my own quantanium and be entirely self-sufficient, rather than just quite self-sufficient like the Carrack. I do think they have potentially different purposes, but we won't know until they're in our hands, I suppose. And I do think there is sometimes the rule of cool gets overblown, and let's have a wow factor with this new ship. I do think that is a problem.
Yeah.
And me as a content creator, I mean, a lot less you, but me as a content creator, I am very, very hype on Star Citizen. I genuinely like the game. I like where it's going. I like the community. I like all the people I've met. I like the drama as well. When they do something wrong, CIG do something wrong, it's interesting for me. Why have they done that? How have they done that? How did they get there? How are they going to resolve it? I've got a lot of friends at CIG, which I like, but they don't tie me into saying anything in particular about Star Citizen or whatever. If I went, yeah, you did something crap there, I'd be go like, oh yeah, we did. They'd be sort of, they're pretty chill people. They seem all pretty good. I just think it's an interesting one. So I'd say that even like Star Citizen's delays and the bad press and all the negativity, or any of the negativity or anything critical about Star Citizen, actually helps the marketing of it. Because there's quite a lot of whales in Star Citizen. There's a lot of people, even if they're not whales, they have large disposable incomes just because of the sort of player base that Cloud Imperium sort of market to and are interested in it. And when you have bad press, when you have all these articles, when you have a delay, when you have people talking about the game or covering it on YouTube, there's just more people seeing the game. And then because of the way Star Citizen looks, and because of the flashes of genius that the game genuinely has and the promise for the future, you're still going to get quite a few people, even watching a Star Citizen's a scam video, you're still going to get some people transferring over from that. And I think Star Citizen is genuinely a story of the community just keeps on growing. And now that they've got this quite refined marketing machine with YouTubers like us supporting them by just producing videos. So let's talk a little bit about this. So I started in 2014, early 2015 maybe, making Star Citizen videos. Yeah. So almost 9 years now. And it's been a roller coaster ride of the way the scope's changed and the way the sort of community has expanded. But just by covering the game, we are directly part of Cloud Imperium's marketing machine.
Whether we like it or not.
Genuinely, whether we like it or not. And they support content creators. Not all content creators are supported, or there are varying levels of support. They have this community hub. They do feature content creators, but you have to be lucky enough to be featured, although Cloud Imperium are sort of quite good at showing off different people's screenshots in the community, highlighting different people's videos and that sort of stuff every so often. And there's loads of little competitions, and especially during like CitizenCon or whatever, Cloud Imperium actively look for various content creators and orgs and stuff to get involved with that. So there's always opportunities for content creators to sort of get involved, and larger content creators are sort of turning up over the last few years. We've had people like Level Cap, who I'm relatively good friends with, I like to think anyway, who sort of started covering the game regularly in his news, and there's loads and loads more. I just sort of think it's interesting. Now, there is a bit of a bias there, because I want Star Citizen to succeed, but I will cover it warts and all.
Yeah.
But we do get an occasional free ship from CIG. So when there's like a new patch release or something, they email me occasionally and go, there's this new ship in here, or we've updated this ship, or there's a new patch releasing tomorrow, and we want to give you a ship to give away on your community. These are like no strings attached things. If I was super critical of Star Citizen all the time and said they were all shit, would they email me and give me a ship regularly? Probably not.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't stop me doing that. I was originally quite, for the first like year of Cloud Imperium starting to do that for content creators and giving them ships to give away on their channel, I was like, no, don't want to be tied to CIG at all.
Oh, yeah.
I just went, no, don't want them, thank you very much, but don't want them. And then because of the way they went, honestly, it's no strings attached, I went, okay, well, all I'm doing there is just stopping my community from getting free ships and damaging my ability to expand, because it's probably going to help me expand having a giveaway. So I went, yeah, sod it, sort of thing. As long as I wear my bias on my sleeve, as long as I tell people, look, I am getting that, but I don't think it makes me any less impartial beyond what I already was. I mean, I'm a Star Citizen fan. What are you going to do? Do you think that's fair, or do you think there's always going to be a little bit more bias and you just have to sort of expect that because we're getting free stuff?
No, because I'm definitely not biased at all.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like having the podcast and chatting to you, because will give you your opinion, whatever it is.
But I mean, I think it's fine. I think you're pretty good, pretty biased. I mean, obviously you're...
No, whoa, just clip that. I think you're pretty good. I'll take it. No, I appreciate that.
You obviously have a positive outlook for Star Citizen. Like, you want it to succeed and you like to focus on the good things. But yeah, you will point out the negatives as well.
I think that one of the main things is the reason that other people that watch my channel that obviously more don't really like Star Citizen or want it to fail or just see it as this horrible sort of mismanagement nightmare or whatever. Because I cover the news, which is largely what Cloud Imperium say and what's happening with their game, that's not going to be negative for the most part. That's always going to be, this is the new thing, this is the cool new thing, look how awesome this looks. And that's the sort of news cycle from CIG. It's that they're controlling what they're putting out for the most part. So it's always going to look positive because I'm just covering it moderately neutrally when I'm doing news videos, although obviously I'm excited about it. So I'm a great person. That's what it is. Very charismatic. Impossible for AI to copy my voice, apparently, as well.
Yep.
So odd cadence that I have. Beyond all that, Cloud Imperium, yeah, they sort of support their community. They support these content creators. I think some content creators, because I've had a few messages from them saying sort of, how do I get involved with getting these free ships? And I don't really know. Talk to CIG, talk to Ulf or Xylo or someone if you think that your channel's a suitable level, that they probably will support people that have a reasonable reach. I don't know how they choose. It would be nice if they actually had more on it. Like, we have this, this is what we're looking for. Like, if you think then maybe they do. I just haven't seen it because I was one of the sort of original content creators for it. I'll have a look later. But so CIG sort of supports its community. They have all these competitions regularly. They have a load of news going out. They sort of have these bar citizens where their devs turn up. They will attend these events. They're very sort of community orientated, and they have to be, because that's what got Cloud Imperium, that's what got Star Citizen to its scope, scale, and it's like a monumental funding. But there's also those hype around those patch releases, those ship sales, those free flies. Is 3.18's live release the exception that proves the rule? I don't know. Like, it was maybe it is because the patch release was bad. The earnings went down. They didn't have a ship sale. We'll have to see what happens at Fleet Week. But I suspect record-breaking amounts of money earned at this Fleet Week.
I mean, they've got a sale going on at the moment for the free fly, haven't they?
So a very minor one. So discounted ship packages is basically what they're selling at the moment. So you've got the Mustang Alpha. Mustang Alpha 100i and Nomad currently on sale. So actually not much. And I think just with the Vulture and the Scorpius being on sale at the beginning of the year because of 3.18, that's actually quite small ships. They haven't had a concept sale. They haven't had a big ship sale. And I think that Star Citizen has suffered for it sort of monetarily. And I think hopefully I will be proven correct in that we will see the largest amount of money ever made in an event from Star Citizen happen this Fleet Week.
But yeah, because what I was trying to get at was because obviously this free fly should have happened at 3.18.
Yes.
But because it was such a disaster, they didn't do it.
Yeah, and this free fly should have had a dynamic event with it, which they would have sold vehicles and ships that were associated with that dynamic event at the same time, which makes them a lot of money. But yeah, because lots of stuff went wrong, we'll have to wait and see. I do think that, yeah, as I said, Fleet Week 3.19, I do think they're going to be massive, and we're just about a month away from that. There's obviously that term I have that I coined, which is development as a service, which I do think that Cloud Imperium have mastered, really. They are sort of fuse all of this marketing, artificial scarcity, the sort of regular news releases, and these sometimes quarterly patch releases, although obviously persistent entity streaming, 4.0, server meshing, all this sort of stuff is thrown, and Pyro's all thrown a load of things in the loop, sort of what's the word for stopping something? Stabbed a pole in the bicycle spokes. What I can't think of any idioms or sayings, but yeah, it's caused some issues. I do think development of the service sort of works for content creators talking about Star Citizen, and because they have a live product, a lot of people play Star Citizen and look at the wow and look at the awesome. But the bugs, when you have a silly bug or something goes wrong, that's sort of part of marketing as well. Like I see it on Star Citizen shorts and things like that now. I see these silly things that happen in game, people laugh at. People love watching a streamer that will be doing something serious and then something silly happens and they like fall through the planet, or their ship just implodes randomly. It's funny, like, or the elevator eats them and they sort of face palm.
Or they get ejected out in the middle of space during a quantum jump.
Yeah, which happens far too regularly, or at least it did. So yeah, Star Citizen's an alpha, and it very much owns that. For the most part, I mean, obviously some people will disagree, but you can't argue with the amount of money that Cloud Imperium are putting in, and that's getting more and more. They're getting more and more backers, more and more people are looking at the project, more and more people are enjoying it, and content creators, any size, whether they're negative or positive, are part of that marketing machine, and it's growing. Cloud Imperium have done their marketing very sensibly to make money, and as long as the game is great, as long as Squadron 42 is good. Like, every year there are more and more delays and that sort of stuff. I mean, there's lots more stuff goes out, and we get closer to a beta and to a full release and to Pyro and stuff. But there's so many delays with things. Like Squadron 42, I was expecting sort of 2016, and I'm still expecting it every 2 years. And I'll still talk about it, and I'll still be hype about it. And I just think that's partly because we're captured by the CIG corporate machine somehow. Just, I don't know. I'll talk about it. I like it. I do enjoy it. That's a genuine thing. But it's a weird one. And so it goes on to sort of no news is bad news. Like, CIG pull out a load of news. There's a lot at the moment, yeah. But whatever the news is, there's something to talk about. And whether that's good or bad. What do you think, Sin? Do you honestly think that Star Citizen is going to release within like the next 4 or 5 years, and Squadron 42 is going to release, and that it's going to be genuinely great games? Are you worried that they might not be like the best? Are you worried about your job security, Zin?
I'm not worried about my job security. I'm sure you'll find me something to do.
That's true. If everything went wrong with Star Citizen, we played other games, but we'd stay here. We'd stay covering Star Citizen to the bitter end.
I don't think it's going to come out like in the next 4 years, personally. And I think we've talked about this before. The fact is when are they going to be happy to release the game?
Yeah, because there's no time restraints on them. There's no publisher beyond themselves. The community is the only thing that will put pressure on them.
And their financiers, people who have given them money.
Yeah, that's the Golder Brothers. There's a good few million there. Though I'm thinking that they'll probably just draw dividends from the company, right?
Yeah.
They don't really care, probably, beyond getting the money back on their...
Yeah, as long as they're getting their money back, they're not going to be too much of a problem, I don't think.
I do think that Star Citizen's going to be genuinely great, as I do think Squadron 42 is. And the ride has been amazing so far. But yeah, I'm really interested to know what other people think. Like, do you feel like you're part of the marketing machine for CIG as well? Do you feel like you just talking on forums and being involved on Reddit and... playing the game, even being on the issue council, is all part of the marketing effectively? Or do you feel like, not really, it's so minor? Yeah, maybe content creators are part of marketing because they're effectively captured because they get free ships or because they're effectively encouraged to say positive things, even though that's not overtly said by Cloud Imperium. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Do you think that Cloud Imperium are going to make more money year on year on year? Maybe they're not incentivized to release the game. They just keep it in perpetual development. I mean, what do you think about that, actually, very, very briefly, Zen? Do you think Cloud Imperium are incentivized to not release any games and keep it in perpetual development?
Kind of, but I'd like to think that they are actively trying to develop it to release.
Yeah, I mean, they are producing more and more each month, and we see that every quarter or so added to the game. I think that this is baby money they're making until they actually release the game. When they have a live product that's released properly, I think the money rolls in. If they release a great Squadron 42, Star Citizen will be so much more mainstream that they will be making huge amounts. I do think there's an incentive to release the game. I think it's silly to say that there's no incentive to, but that's just me. You may have a different point of view, and that's why I'm asking you to say that in the comments. And thank you very much for all the support we get. Use the YouTube join button, or click all the things, like, subscribe. There'll be an outro on this video. Just listen to that. And there's, like, I don't know, some sort of silly wolf telling you to buy NordVPN or something. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you've got any more topics or subjects you want us to cover, please check that in the comments as well. The Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale until the 19th of April. This gives you native high-precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very cool for general immersion, for combat both in ship or on foot. They are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit, and both Zin and I have one. Use the links below to grab one for 15% off or to find out more. Little Nord Riding Hood was on her way to Grandma's house. Upon arriving at her house, she called, "Grandma, are you home?" "Yes, dear. I'm on my laptop in bed." Upon seeing her grandma, she exclaimed, "Oh, Grandma, what long fingers you have." "Oh, the better to browse the internet, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what powerful VPN protection you have." "Oh, the better to browse safely, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have." "Oh, the better to enjoy my greater access to the sites I want to visit, my dear." "But seriously, get NordVPN or I will eat you." The moral of this story is that there are some great deals on NordVPN, and using it can improve your internet privacy, safety, and give you more access to the content you want to see. Get it from the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway for April 2023. It's for a Drake Vulture, the light salvage ship. This will enable you to take to the stars, find wrecks and strip them, as well as craft some useful items with its onboard dispensary. It comes with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package as well. All you need to get into the game, and all you have to do to be in for a chance of winning that, is comment on any of my videos made during April. Also, please bear in mind that there are scammers about in YouTube. If you see in the comments below someone trying to get you to go onto Telegram, or someone not using my main account, which is the account I'm making videos on now, then they are a scammer pretending to be me or someone else, and just be safe on YouTubes. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider subscribing. You can become a Patreon, you can use the YouTube join button as well. That goes an extra mile to help support us and enables us to produce Star Citizen content every day. And that's down to you guys helping support us. So genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my little BoredGamer heart.